Hey there, Marvel fans! We know you have been watching and enjoying the charming Loki on Disney Plus Hotstar. And as all of us are well aware that Marvel takes care of minute details. So there would be many things like Easter eggs, comic references, and interesting details that you would have missed. So here we are with a series of top 10 things you might have missed in Loki, episode 1. So before we move forward, let us give you a spoiler alert. Since we are diving into deeper details, it is best advised to watch this after you have watched the episode. So without any delay, let's start with number 10. When Loki finds out that even the great Infinity Stones wouldn't work in the TVA, his world just turns upside down.
Is this the greatest power in the universe?
And Loki would have known that if he had paid closer attention from the start. And as all of us know, the Tesseract is known for its constant radiant blue glow. But as soon as he steps into the agency, the globe loses its significant shine. And if the TVA can depower an Infinity Stone, how powerful are they? The intriguing thought is that how stronger are the people that scare them? Well, let's have a discussion about that in the comments below. Number 9. While Loki was waiting to be judged, the animated Miss Minutes tells him that there was once a war between the realities that threatened to destroy existence itself. The war was between different timelines about which is the superior one. And the conflict ended when the timelines were combined into one by the Timekeepers. But do you know that a similar storyline played out in the 2015 Secret Wars comics, after two big Marvel universes collided and caused massive destruction? Aspects of different realities were combined into a place called a battleground. Although the heroes helped to recreate more universes at the end of the storyline, the Timekeepers in MCU seem strongly against having too many timelines around. That means we may never know what the other reality existed outside the main MCU timeline before the war began. It's a bit depressing to not know what the other realities are. What do you think? Number 8. What do you think of Mobius? We'll tell you something that you would not know. When the TV agents were willing to reset Loki after finding him guilty, fortunately Agent Mobius stepped in to save the God of Mischief before we figure out what the reset means. But what you may not know is that Times Corp's counterpart saved somebody completely different in the comics. After She-Hulk is found guilty of the time crime, she was nearly erased from the timeline. When Mobius is left to decide her fate, he gives her a second chance. He also makes She-Hulk watch over an Avenger that committed a time crime as her punishment. Maybe Mobius will follow the comic counterpart and make Loki supervising hero by the time the season ends. To know whether it's going to happen or not, we have to wait till the end of the season. Which may be sad since it's the end of the season, but at the same time, questions will be answered. Number 7. Believe it or not, the blue mouth gum that the Variant Loki gifts kind of has a comic connection. But not as in its Marvel Easter eggs or anything else. But in that, it feels like a nod to something that was omnipresent in old comic books. You see, back in the day, if your memory serves, every comic had an ad page that was nothing but novelty gifts, such as joy buzzers, whoopee cushions, x-ray glasses, which you may recognize as the Den of Geek logo, and the gum that will turn your mouth blue or black. Loki, in true trickster fashion, gave this poor little French kid some of the novelty gum, leaving him with a blue mouth. Funny, right? It's a clever nod to a piece of comic history, and one that's extremely appropriate for the God of Mischief. Number 6. Once Mobius arrives at the interrogation room with Loki, we see that he has a drink waiting for him, specifically 2 cans of Josta. Produced by Pepsi, 90s kids will remember Josta as the first widely available energy drink. The soft drink was only available from 1995 to 1999. So Mobius has to pop into mid-90s convenience stores just to get his fix. I guess that doesn't mess with the timeline. Do you know that Josta used to have a slogan, "Better to do stuff now"? And of course, Mobius' favorite drink would have a slogan with the reference to time.
Come on. What did you expect?
Number 5. After rescuing him from execution, Mobius gives a tour to Loki of the TV headquarters, to which Loki has one reasonable response.
This place is a nightmare.
And Mobius responds with,
It's another department.
so obviously this would be example of Mobius' dry humor, or it will be another teeny little nod to Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, yeah, right.
I have been falling for 30 minutes!
You can handle it.
It's long been rumored that Marvel villain Nightmare will be an antagonist or the antagonist in the Doctor Strange sequel. Nightmare as a character has been long associated with Doctor Strange and even Loki. So it's not impossible that this is bit of setup for that film. And Marvel loves doing this kind of stuff. Remember how Stephen Strange was name dropped in Captain America the Winter Soldier 2 years before he debuted? So you might want to thank us for this well advanced insight. Number 4. If you look closely in Loki's TVA file, you'll see that his sex is categorized as fluid. That is canon, not just in regard of Marvel Comics, but Norse mythologically as well. In the comics, Loki spent a number of years scheming and getting up to no good after reincarnating on Earth in a female form. Since then, Loki's gender fluidity and pansexuality have been embraced by many of the character's writers. This mention on Loki's TVA file confirms that the same can be said on Hiddleston's Loki. The next question is, will we get to see this play on TV? Well, we have to wait to find that out. Now, before we come to the top 3 spots that you have been eagerly waiting for, we just want you to go ahead and subscribe to Wonder X so that you never miss a video that we upload. Number 3. Aside from many Infinity Stones in Casey's drawer, there was also a medallion, a cross, and what appears to be a dagger of some kind. This is a stretch, but is this a hint that Dracula is coming to the MCU in the Blade movie? Okay, fine, we'll stop. This tracks fairly well to how we know the Infinity Stones work in the comics. In Secret Wars, Battleworld was comprised of bits and pieces of the multiverse that Doom and Doctor Strange could have saved before it was annihilated by the Beyonders. Strange suspected that Doom might need to be taken down at some point in the future, so he made sure to grab a set of Infinity Gems to use on him. However, they only work in their home reality. So on Battleworld, that meant that if you travel to a different land with stones from the first, they'd stop working at the border. Casey's drawers look like it's full of inert stones from variant timelines that don't work because they're no longer connected to their home realm. I think we can all relate to the pain Loki had when he got to know that they are being used as paperweights. Number 2. While investigating a murder scene in 16th century France, Mobius questions a witness to the crimes, a kid. He asks who's responsible for the death, and the kid points to a stained glass window that contains likeness of Satan. Mephisto's stance, which apparently exists, are going to think that this is a sign that once again Mephisto is the star of the show that's not about Mephisto. First WandaVision and now Loki. Mephisto, the Marvel Satan adjacent demon, does have strong comic ties with both Wanda and Loki. This is not a Mephisto reference, this is a Loki reference. Notice how both Loki and this stained glass devil have horns? That's what the kid is implying when he points to the window. And that's exactly how we all would have taken it if people haven't gone Mephisto crazy over WandaVision. If you don't believe, there's a news out there in which the show's director gives clarification about it. And here comes the number 1 fact. While Loki was waiting impatiently in somehow never-ending line of 2, the TVs mounted on the wall play an explainer video skimming over the history of TVA, which is the history of all the existence. In the J-Ward or Hanna-Barbera style animated sequence, we hear a term we've already heard once before on Disney+, Nexus. As TV explains, a nexus is a point in reality wherein an event occurs that causes a timeline to branch. For instance, Loki picking up the Tesseract in Avengers Tower in 2012, or Loki crashing in the desert and talking to some locals also in 2012. 2 things that weren't meant to happen, so those incidents are nexuses. It's also important to note that the term nexus appears in a commercial in WandaVision, that a nexus is a unique antidepressant that works to anchor you back to your reality, or the reality of your choice. It's incredibly like that this was included as a connection to Loki. This lays groundwork for central themes in both shows to collide in 2012's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So just be patient and remember, Marvel never comes easy. And there will be a continuation of this series with episode 2, so stay tuned for it. And if you want to know some more top 10s, you can click on one of these 2 videos. And with that being said, we'll take your leave and we'll see you again at Wonder X with an amazing top 10.